Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. I do apologize for my earlier technical difficulties. I had huge technical difficulties, but nonetheless, we're going to get into the review today. And today we'll be talking about CryoLife. We understand that CryoLife is a medical stock. It mostly deals with medical devices. And CryoLife soared to 24.2.3% on Friday. And a lot of investors, a lot of people who are investing in this particular stock or are interested in the stock want to know if this stock will grow even more. I know the median price for this stock is around $35 a share. That's the median price, not the current price. The current price for the stock, unfortunately, is absolutely dropping. So as we're looking at it right here, okay, I'm looking at myself. Give me 1 second. As we're looking at it right here, ladies and gentlemen, CryoLife is actually absolutely down, but if we go past the past week performance, CryoLife was up to 18.64%. And of course, that's taken away from the amount that it actually declined over the weekend, okay? Also in the pre and post market. But today, this stock, unfortunately, is 4% down. Now, over the past 5 years, it's been up 124%. So we're going to get inside this review. We're going to get inside this review and talk about how this stock could potentially make you some money and in some cases lose some money. So over the past 5 years, it's been up 124%. The past year, 28%. The past 3 months, 15%. The past month, 24%. I'm rounding up. The past week, again, 19% into today. It's teetering, is losing roughly around 4% per share, okay? Let's move right along. For you guys who are not familiar with CryoLife and engaging in the manufacture, process, and distribution of medical devices, it operates through the following segments: medical devices and preservation services. The medical device segment includes revenues from sales of BioGlue, gel tech products, Onyx products, cryogenically, and more. This stock is headquartered in Kennesaw, Georgia, founded in 1984, and roughly has around 1,200 employees, and the CEO being James Patrick Mackin. Okay, they have no key statistics at this particular time, and the related list, the related tags, is healthcare supplies out of Georgia. And this has been one of the daily movers, but it's moving in the wrong direction for most investors unless you have option trades that are puts, okay? Now, here's some of the quarterly earnings insights that we really need to look at. Now, when you're looking at this, if you're wondering if this is a volatile stock, it really isn't. When you look at their 5-year earnings, they've been up over 100-something%. That's actually pretty good in this field. They deal in a solid field of medical devices because, quite frankly, if you guys are not familiar with some of the technology they actually deal in, then cryo stock, if you guys are in the medical field, here are some of the things that you could possibly look at. Now, I'm going to butcher some of these names because, again, a lot of medical terms, medical terminologies are highly involved in Latin, okay? But this is oleographs, BioGlue, whatever that is. It says surgical adhesive, vascular oleographs, cryogenically, that has to do with cardio laser therapy, photofix, scintigraph, that has to do with decellularized technology, and carbon 8, which has to do CO2 diffuser. And they have something called PerClot. Thinking that I have no idea. Okay. But these are some of the products that they absolutely deal in. So again, the reason why I like to go over the products of a company, because you need to know what you are investing in. What's the futuristic value of a company? And some of the products can absolutely help you here. If you see here, it says CryoLife, Life Restoring Technologies, and their partnerships. What other groups of medical professionals are they involved with? Have they acquired any LLCs, S corporations, anything like that? And I'm going to show you here one of these sliders here that they just acquired another company that can make them again. It says FDA approves, say reinforcing tissue, reinforcing results with the BioGlue. Again, they just acquired this company right here, the Citrus Medical LLC. So again, I like to look at these things and say, hey, what is the profitability over the next 1 to 3 to 5 years? See, a lot of us, we're looking for fast money, and investments is not that. Every so often, we can look inside of investments and see that this stock exploded, but that's not the usual trend. So when people ask me for my advice of investing in a particular stock or not, it's about time. You have to, it takes some stocks more time than others to mature and to have a really good time period where they have exponential growth. But if you're not investing $5 a day, that's $150 a month. Now, depending on your profession, you know, how much money you're making, your salary, your income, your hourly wages, your expenses, all of those things, those are all factors and variables into the amount of money that you can invest in a month. See, if you're 20 years of age, 30 years of age, 40 years of age, that group of people, you have time. But as you start reaching 50 and 60, your time starts to decrease because your life expectancy for most people is around 80 years of age. I'm just encompassing all groups of people, okay? No matter what walks of life, I'm encompassing all of those groups of people. So if you're 20, you have 30, 40, 50, 60, you have over 40 years that you could be investing and making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's important to start investing young, even if it's $50 a month, $15 a month, $100 a month. But a good rule of thumb, if you have discretionary cash, if you have a surplus of money at the end of the month that you can absolutely invest, then I will start off investing in ETF and index funds. Okay. And again, as you start to get closer to 50, it doesn't mean that you can't invest. It just means you need to be more safer, not safe, because no investment is safe, 100% safe, but you do have safer investments when you invest in what? Bonds, ETF, index funds, and precious metals, okay? That should be the base. That should be the foundation of most of you guys' portfolios. But with that being said, okay, we have to look at cryptocurrencies. That's on the market, and cryptocurrencies are not going anywhere. They're infusing blockchain technology into every facet of technology, whether it be Cisco system, Oracle, IBM, Microsoft, Google, etc. The list goes on and on. So we have to be very cognizant of that, okay? So as I'm looking at Cryo Price here, I'm gonna go over to Market Watch, and I'm gonna look at the projected earnings with them, their performance over the past time periods here. We're gonna look at this. Now, over the past 5 days, again, they've been up almost 19%. Year to date, that's encompassing everything, is only 18.76%. But with COVID-19 and vaccines, a lot of medical companies are doing a lot better than they were before. Okay? A lot of these companies are doing a lot better than they were before. And we look at their 52-week range, okay? $16 to $30. Okay, $16 to $30. Their EPS is an indication if the company is operating out of debt or out of profit. This is not a lot. This is not a lot of debt at all, okay? Let's see what else here that we can point out. Now, the analyst on MarketWatch is saying that this particular stock is overbought. I don't agree. I don't agree because I go around to all the news agencies, and I look at what a lot of their experts are saying. A lot of people who do commentary about different stocks and different stock analyst. This stock still has room to grow, okay? This stock still has room to grow. When I was looking up earlier, it was on CNN Money, okay? And this is what it showed me, okay? It says 3 analysts offering 12 months price forecast for CryoLife. It has a median target of $35 per share with a high estimate of $38 per share and a low estimate of $30 per share. So when I factor in the current price of CryoLife at $28, they're still telling me I can still make $2 per share. So this is the imperative for you guys to absolutely invest. And again, when we're looking at these different types of stocks, just because you see a stock that's $30 a share, you can invest $5, $10, because with this new millennial way of type of investing, you can invest in fractional shares, which is absolutely phenomenal. So I love that it's even the low median price is $30. Okay, the low median price is $30 right here, $30.75. So it says also the median estimate represents a 20% increase from the last price of $29.16. Okay. Now we're going to move over to Yahoo Finance. Okay. Yahoo Finance. And we're just going to get some history very quickly. I'm going to show you the potential of this stock. June 1st, 2001, the stock was worth almost $41 per share. Could it return? Absolutely. But there's no guarantees in anything when it comes to stocks. But could it return? Yes. Here are the analysts from Yahoo. This is what they're saying. Okay. This is what they're saying. They're saying short term that this stock 2 to 6 weeks are going to go up. Midterm is going to go up. Long term, that's 9 months plus that this stock will go up. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want us to be so eager to invest in every stock that I give you. Take all of my information with a grain of salt. And if you have the propensity, you have the time, invest in these stocks with caution, meaning do your own research to a certain extent. But I do take this information that I give you very, very seriously. And do I believe that this is a good stock? I do. That you should invest it? You should, especially if you're building anywhere from, 4 to 7, 4 to 5 stocks in your portfolio. And if you're looking at the projection of other stocks that you may want to replace in your portfolio, then this possibly can be another good stock for your portfolio. Now and again, I want to tell you the seriousness of always swapping out your stocks. First and foremost, that incurs taxes because you're making a financial transaction. So you're going to incur taxes. So that's why I always tell you, build a solid portfolio where you want to buy 100, 200, 300 shares of one particular stock. And in that portfolio, and we're just talking about individual regular stocks, you want to have about 4 to 5. Now, when it comes to ETFs, you want to have about 2 to 3 precious metals, same thing, and also bonds, okay? At least 1 or 2 bonds inside a portfolio, because when you build a solid foundation with precious metals, index, ETFs, and bonds, this happens to help you during times of inflation where investors start to pull out their money and the federal government uses your money in order to invest inside the market with those bonds and some of those ETFs. You can use this as what you call hedging your portfolio with other forms of investments, okay? And I didn't mention, but commodities, if you can invest in gas, oil, electric, etc., okay? And also real estate. So in your whole portfolio, I'm not saying you should only have 4 or 5 stocks. It's the types of stocks that you should have that's only 4 to 5. But you may have 12, you may have 15, again, because you want to protect that portfolio, meaning where those individual stocks like the tech market, okay, the medical market, where those drop, those ETF, those index funds, precious metals, commodity stocks are still going at anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4%. Your portfolio is still earning value, it's still making money. So that's very important that you guys invest in those stocks as well. And if you guys are not aware of any good ETF or index funds, believe me, unfortunately, I have over 1,000 videos for you guys to skim through and look at. And even if you fast forward, you can possibly find some good stocks for your portfolio. That being said, let's move over to Zacks. Okay, this is the current price of the stock. And Zacks has this particular stock as a hold, okay? And their style score has D for value, C for growth, D for momentum, and a total VGM as a D. I disagree. I believe it's a C based upon their financials and pretty much based upon their momentum that they had last week, okay? Now, that's CryoLife. That's the stock review for CryoLife. But I want you guys to be aware of some new information. When I was going through my emails and also reading some news stories this morning, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I've been aware of this about a month, that this deal was actually going through with Jay-Z and Tidal. So Jay-Z sold Tidal to Square. And a lot of you are familiar with Square. They're one of the first ones where small businesses, people who were selling things on the street, where you can stick your credit card inside of and you see the little square. They kind of started that mobile payment things where you can just pretty much use your phone or a small apparatus they would send out to you. So Jay-Z sells Tidal for $350 million. Okay. Now Jay-Z is already a billionaire, not even including Beyonce's money. Why is this important? Because again, I really want to drive home. I really want to hit the nail on its head about you guys investing for the long term. Because when I was reading these stories, and I was like, wow, he sold Tidal, was a Black-owned music streaming company. And I said, why did he sell Tidal? Jay-Z is a very intelligent businessman. You know, he's from the Mossy Projects in New York. And I look at him, 50 Cent. I'm actually doing an Audible book with 50 Cent. I think it's Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder. And I also read the 50 Laws of Power. Why am I telling you guys this? Because these gentlemen, whether it be Jay-Z, Nas, because you know Nas invested in Coinbase and he made hundreds of millions of dollars. He invested in Coinbase in its infancy. So the importance of investing and thinking long term is that it took Jay-Z to make a little bit less than 300 million profit off his investment in Tidal in 2015. See, Jay-Z bought Tidal back in 2015 for $56 million. Now, I want you to think about it on a more feasible level for most of us common folk. What if you had your life's earnings, 401k, your stocks, you cashed it all in, and you risked everything, and somebody say, hey, you give me $56,000 right now, in 6 years, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to buy this back or give you $356,000 or $350,000. Would you be able to do that? See, a lot of us want instant gratification. It's kind of like social media. We want everything quick. Why is this video so long? We want all the information. Boom, 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 boom. I don't have time for this. What I understand is that patience is how your profit and money goes. This is how it obtained value. Because getting this particular company and changing the way the business was ran profited Jay-Z over $300 million. Excuse me, a little bit less than $300 million. So here's the thing. How much did Jay-Z pay Tidal for? $56 million. Again, how much did he sell it for? $350 million. Let's go on. Okay. Now, not only did Jay-Z sell Tidal to Square, but it's something else he's learned throughout the years of selling the companies and then being part of the board of directors so he can always obtain royalties. So now him and Jack Dorsey is the CEO of Square. So him and Jay-Z are now co-owners of Tidal on the board of directors, and he still receive royalties. But Jack Dorsey gave Jay-Z $300 million of an investment in his personal pocket so he can be a part of Tidal. Very important for you guys to learn this. Listen to this. The company led by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey is buying Tidal, the music service led by Robert Jay-Z. Dorsey says he is buying Tidal to find new ways for orders to make money. Yeah, for you to make money. But anyway, okay, let's see what else Jay-Z is involved with. This is a great example. Jay-Z is also involved in Uber. He says that he has $220 million in cash and investment, including a stake in Uber worth an estimated $70 million, which he originally purchased for $2 million. If you guys listen to Jay-Z's 444 album, he talks about he should have bought the Dumbo mansion or some property because it was now worth a couple of years later 10 times its worth. So through a lot of lost investment, guys like Jay-Z, 50 Cent to name a couple, they have learned that buy early, sell at the highest peak. Okay? Okay? And how do you know when to sell even with your stock? How do you know when to sell your business? You have to understand trends and analysis. A trend, I'll show you my portfolio so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about, okay? And I'm only going to use a timeline as a graphical representation of what I mean, okay? So take, for instance, I'm looking at my portfolio. Now, automatically, you see where the peak is and how I lost a lot of profits. So do I sell here? No. I see a trend of it going down. No. Do I sell here where I made 12 grand? I guess within a 3-year time period? No. And then it dives down. Well, if you told me, and we're talking about, we're just using this as a graphical representation of a company, do my trends and analysis that this particular portfolio, in this case, a business, went up to 159% of its profit. This is where I should have sold that company. Does that make sense? Because they're all watching that when I bought Tidal for $56 million and now Tidal is worth $60 million, it's like your home. When I first bought this house for $390,000, according to my real estate agent, or excuse me, according to a friend that's a real estate agent who lives a couple of doors down, he told me that price per square foot of this house is now $147. So my house on the market is worth over $500,000. I've already made, if I were to sell it, $100,000 in profit, but there's some other things to compute with equity and refinancing that, you know, your house loses a bit of equity, especially if you do a cash out refi, etc. But when it comes to this particular story, when it comes to Jay-Z, him selling Tidal, I think he sold it at his peak, but he's still going to obtain royalties, and royalties just money, okay, because he's still part owner, okay? And I had another thing. Let's see here. Who's the richest black man in the world? They still got Kanye up here? Okay, no, they don't. Good. That was a lie. I had some other questions I wanted to show you guys. Here we go. It says right here, Jack Dorsey and Jay-Z are in business. But see, Jack Dorsey gave Jay-Z $300 million. Dorsey announced Thursday that the mobile payment company Square had acquired a majority stake in Tidal. That's when people say, okay, Jay-Z sold Tidal to Square. And that's because Square, Jack Dorsey Square, has a majority stake. So essentially, they can call most of the shots. Now, it says the music streaming service owned by the rapper Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and other artists, but Jay-Z and Jack Dorsey are in business together. Again, I just took this small 5 or 6 minutes to tell you guys the importance of investing long term. Same thing with Jay-Z and him buying and selling Tidal is the same thing when you buy and sell, when you trade in your stock, whether you're buying or selling and trading your stocks in your portfolio. The same way I did with NEO. I invested in NEO when NEO was $3. NEO went up to 60 something dollars. I sold my NEO. NEO dropped down all the way to 30 something dollars a share, and then I'm buying back in. Now, I took those profits, and I shouldn't have really sold all of my NEO, but man, I made some really good money. And so I'm buying in at a higher price point, and I will lose out on futuristic profits if NEO goes above $60. Now, a lot of investors believe that NEO will go to $100. Then again, if I would have kept those shares, patience, I would have made more than selling it and reinvesting it. But again, there's so many things you can do with profits that you come off shares, meaning with NEO, when I sold those shares, I bought into some real estate. So that could be profitable because again, people say, hey, you know, I'm buying all these stocks, I'm buying all these shares, I'm investing all this money. When do I sell? When do I do this? I tell people, you sell those shares, okay? But it's going to be years essentially, okay? Especially if you've done your research. It's going to be years unless you need cash to make a more profitable investment. And, you know, the financials look right. The company is solid. That doesn't mean it's going to do well. That doesn't mean that you're taking a risk. You're taking a chance. But that is how you make money, ladies and gentlemen. You have to take risks. People ask me all the time, what's safe? Nothing is safe. Everything incurs risk. But this is how Jay-Z became a billionaire. And that is how 50 Cent became a 100 millionaire. Okay. Meaning he's worth like $300, $400, $500 million. Okay. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is your stock review for today. And of course, with some other information, I hope you take these words very kindly and that you apply them to your life because like Warren Buffett said, the transfer of wealth is from the impatient to the patient. So if you're out there being impatient, you're losing profit, especially when you sell your stock at $30. And then 2 years later, that stock is worth $60. You just lost out on doubling the amount of value in that one particular stock. So you have to have patience, ladies and gentlemen. And again, the only time you sell your stocks is when you could possibly make better profit in another investment. Okay, that doesn't mean, oh, another stock. I mean like real estate, buying into a business, or you really just need the money to pay your bills and feed your family. Okay, or maybe take a trip, but that's when you're like 60. You guys have a great, wonderful day. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great one. I'm out.